is 7 News Today in Florida.
And now at 10, families and first responders coming together to remember the victims of the tragic Surfside condo collapse exactly 3 years ago today.
More than 100 residents already asleep when their building came crashing down in the middle of the night.
And the tragedy changing the face of the entire community as we knew it. 98 people were killed on that day, and today loved ones are coming together to remember the lives lost too soon.
That's right. We're going to send it over to 7's Alex Browning, who is near the scene of the tragedy where they're holding a ceremony this morning.
Michael David Altman, Hilda Noriega, Lucia Carolina Guara.
98 names read aloud at 1:22 this morning by first responders who were called to the Champlain Towers South site in Surfside exactly 3 years ago. The tower had collapsed. With the 98 lives lost that night, hundreds of worlds collapsed as well. The worlds of families and friends and the first responders who vowed to bring them closure over the next 4 weeks of search and recovery efforts.
It's just not names, these are extended family members that we've made, over the course of the last 3 years.
The victims ranging in age from 1 to 92, affecting families from all around the world. Rescue crews coming in from all around the world as well to help.
It's not just a yearly remembrance, it's a daily remembrance. And that's the difference when an incident happens in your backyard.
And so every year, families and first responders gather over the flicker of a flame to remember and reflect on life and loss and what's been gained over the year that's passed. Progress, for example, as federal investigators try to figure out what caused the collapse in the first place. In March, lead investigators confirmed the building boasted faulty support columns in the tenant garage and pool deck, some half the strength they should have been. And on another front, a fragile resolution finalizing plans for a luxury condo on the collapse site and the memorial adjacent to it. Developers agreeing to concessions brought forth by several families, though not all were happy.
Isn't normal for 98 people to get killed in a place they called home and have to rally for respect?
It's a sentiment that shows closure has eluded many families, but healing has started to settle in.
We've begun to heal, and I'll use the word heal because many people are finally walking with smiles. They're getting up and meeting friends, families, just trying to move on with their lives.
And this remembrance ceremony expected to start just right off the 10 o'clock hour, where all 98 names will be read, as well as first responders and those victims' families coming together once again 3 years later. We're in Surfside. Alex Browning, Today in Florida.
And right now we are waiting for that ceremony to start. Live pictures from Surfside of the podium, where we are waiting for our local officials to address this agonizing anniversary. 3 years ago today is when 98 people lost their lives in the Champlain Towers South in the middle of the night. As we've been talking about, Jordan, the unimaginable happened that night, and it's really a night that shook South Florida and the whole country.
Right. I mean, no matter where you were, you heard about this tragic accident. I know I was out in California. It was earlier in the evening, but again, for you folks here in South Florida, it was 1 in the morning. Right. Something that no one ever expected to happen.
Yeah, we woke up to the devastating news. 98 people between the ages of 1 and 92. And Jordan, we remember that day, and it felt like it wasn't real. It wasn't until the sun came up that we saw those images and that heartbreaking video of the collapse that we realized what took place. And then and here we are 3 years later, remembering those lives lost. These live pictures are showing you where that ceremony is going to be taking place, and we're waiting for them to get that started.
That's right. 10 o'clock here is the time, so we'll be holding on just a little bit, and we'll bring you more of this live picture as they continue to prepare for that ceremony that's going to be taking place in just a little bit.
Meantime, we want to take you live to downtown Fort Lauderdale on this Monday morning.